Unlock the unseen power of your dreams, a sacred nighttime awakening awaits. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It was a night like no other, thick with silence, shadows dancing on my walls. I lay awake, my heart pounding like a drum in the quiet, a sense of unease gripping my soul. It felt as if the very air was charged with energy. Outside, a lone owl hooted, its cry echoing through the stillness, a whisper from the unknown that I had been in search of something deeper, something beyond the mundane clockwork of life. Doubt clouded my thoughts like storm clouds on a horizon, and yet the promise of discovery glimmered just out of reach. They said dreams could be powerful, mystical portals, but who really believed in that sort of magic? They were just flickering images, right? Yet, even as my logical mind fought back, my spirit fluttered with curiosity. That night, I closed my eyes and surrendered to the darkness. As I drifted, soft tendrils of light wrapped around me, warm and inviting. A kaleidoscope of colors danced behind my eyelids, fiery reds, deep blues, and shimmering golds. I felt a swirl of emotions rise within me, a mixture of fear, hope, and wonder. Suddenly, I was in a vast field, a sea of shimmering silver grass that whispered secrets to the wind. The sky overhead was alive, swirling with clouds shaped like mythical beasts, but before I could catch my breath, a shadow emerged from behind the clouds. An ethereal figure, cloaked in an aura of pulsating light, beckoned. My heart raced as questions bubbled up. Who are you? What do you want? What does this mean? The figure pointed skyward, but I could not see what lay beyond the brightness, and just like that, I was jolted awake. The dawn light spilled through my window like liquid gold, and the dream faded like mist. I sat up, shaken. My heart still raced, and a lingering sense of urgency pulsed through me. What was I meant to discover? Was it all just a trick of my imagination, or was there something more? I felt the weight of unanswered questions pressing on my chest. Something significant was waiting. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The following night, the moon hung low and full, casting a silvery glow over the landscape. I felt an irresistible pull to venture outside, driven by the weight of last night's dream still lingering in my thoughts. I slipped into a light jacket and stepped into the brisk night air. Everything felt alive, whispering secrets to me. Wandering into the backyard, I noticed the world transformed under the moonlight. Shadows stretched longer, and the trees swayed gently as if they held their breath, awaiting my exploration. I was drawn to the old oak that had been the silent witness to my childhood adventures, its gnarled roots twisting deep into the earth, grounding me in a way I hadn't anticipated. As I leaned against its sturdy trunk, I closed my eyes, feeling the rough bark against my palm, allowing the essence of the tree to seep into my being. A breeze rustled through the leaves, and suddenly, I heard whispers barely deafened by the rustling of the branches. They taunted my senses, drawing forth the memory of the celestial figure from my dream. My heart raced again, and I became acutely aware of the question that simmered within my chest. What was I meant to discover? In that moment, the whispers transformed into words, soft, melodic, and impossibly clear. Look beyond the veil, for the answers you seek dwell within you. A shiver danced down my spine. Had I really just heard that? Or was my mind playing tricks? I opened my eyes, startled yet curious. The night seemed to pulse with energy, and a deep sense of urgency urged me to act. Following the oak's lead, I took a deep breath and focused inward, allowing myself to visualize my dreams. The colors, feelings, and sensations surfaced again. As I delved deeper, a memory resurfaced. Dan Elder, a friend from my childhood, had once shared stories of dream interpretation, speaking of dreams as threads weaving between our spirit and the universe. Was this a thread connecting my waking life and the world beyond? With newfound determination, I decided to write down my dreams, the vivid imagery, the fleeting emotions, each fragment a potential clue guiding me forward. I rushed inside, my heart pounding with exhilaration as the act of creation felt like a sacred communion with my inner self. Days passed, and with each new dream, I gathered more fragments every night, revealing new layers of understanding. Some were mundane, while others proved to be profound, offering insights into my fears and aspirations. I began to notice synchronicities, strange connections that seemed to emerge from seemingly unrelated experiences, a conversation overheard on the bus that echoed my thoughts, or a song playing that resonated with my heartache. Then, one evening, I was invited to an art exhibit showcasing local artists' interpretations of dreams. Each piece was infused with the artist's essence, a rawness that grabbed my attention. I wandered through the dimly lit space, captivated. There was one particular installation, a room enveloped in velvet darkness, only illuminated by glowing orbs that floated gently, creating ethereal shadows on the walls. It was as though I were stepping into a dream, a realm begging to be explored. As I reached out to touch one of the orbs, an electric thrill raced through me, and I felt a rush of memories. Glimpses of my dreams bubbled to the surface, echoed through flashes of color and emotion, mingling with that feeling from the oak tree. I lost myself in the moment, feeling the barrier between my reality and the dream world dissolve. It was then that an elderly artist approached me, her presence calming. "Do you see?" she asked gently, her eyes piercing through me. "The universe speaks to us through symbols and signs. Our dreams are but a reflection of the journey within. We are all travelers in search of home." Her words resonated deeply, prompting another wave of questions. What did home truly mean? Was my quest a search for understanding, belonging, or something even deeper? As I left the exhibit, the brisk night air surrounded me again. The weight of her words settled in my heart. I walked under the starlit sky, listening to the whispers of the universe as I pondered the meaning of dreams and the very fabric of existence. What further signs awaited me? What truths were woven into the tapestry of my life that I had yet to unravel? In the stillness of that night, I felt a surge of hope and the beginnings of faith, but crucial questions still tugged at my spirit. Could I trust in the unfolding mystery? Would I have the courage to seek the answers that eluded me? The following night, I stood by my window, the tendrils of twilight reaching across the horizon, painting the sky in shades of indigo and lavender. The fervor from the art exhibit still lingered, a soft echo in my soul nudging me to further explore the depths of my dreams. I had begun to sense a rhythm to my journey, a cycle of awakening and introspection. Somewhere within this dance of light and shadow lay my answers, hiding just out of reach. As the moon rose, urging me once more into the world outside, I felt drawn to revisit the oak tree. The air was crisp, laced with the sweet scent of impending autumn. With every step, my connection to both the earth and the stars seemed to grow stronger, a reminder that I was part of something vast and beautiful. I embraced the oak's ancient trunk again, feeling its pulse beneath my fingertips, almost as if it were alive and breathing. This time, however, I sensed something different. The whispers that had once reached out to me now evolved into images, vibrant and flickering like fireflies in the night. I closed my eyes and opened myself, allowing the imagery to envelop me. There appeared shadows of memories, some fragmented, others more cohesive, woven together in a dreamlike narrative. Suddenly, I was swept into a vision. A child, perhaps a younger version of myself, stood beneath the very oak, her eyes brimming with wonder. She was spinning in circles, arms outstretched, welcoming the wind and the sunlight. The joy radiated from her being, a pure, unfiltered delight that felt infinite. I recognized that moment, one I had buried deep beneath the burdens of adulthood. Opening my eyes, I gasped. The tenderness of that innocence lingered at the edges of my heart, urging me to remember what had sparked my spirit before worries and expectations conjured walls around me. In that instant, the question surfaced: how often do we forget the purity of our dreams in pursuit of what we believe we should become? While contemplating this, I noticed movement in the gardenia, flickering light dancing between the flowers. Curious, I followed its path and found a small firefly hovering nearby, its brief brilliance illuminating a hidden shimmering web spun by a nearby spider. The delicate threads glistened in the moonlight like tiny stars scattered across a darker canvas. I realized that the web, with its intricate design, was a testament to the beauty in chaos, the creativity born from patience and resilience. The realization washed over me, just as the spider crafted its web patiently night after night. Perhaps I too was weaving a tapestry from the fragments of my dreams and the experiences that followed. Every encounter, every moment I had woven into my life was part of a larger design, something meant to connect and inspire. With that newfound understanding, I returned indoors, flurries of thoughts igniting my imagination. I grabbed my journal, compelled to spill my heart onto the page. Words flowed like fresh water as I transcribed my vision, reflecting on how the beauty of my spirit could rise again, unshackled by the expectations of life. Each dream segment, each memory was essential to the grand tapestry of my existencia, thread in a much larger weave. Then, from among the pages, I found a note I had written after the art exhibit. It contained the elder artist's words, "The universe speaks to us through symbols and signs." Had I been listening closely enough? What more was it revealing? Each new experience promised a revelation waiting just beneath the surface, echoing with the same pulse I felt against the oak's trunk. As I closed my journal, a realization lingered more than to just seek understanding. Perhaps my journey was meant to embrace the unknowable, to dance joyfully through moments of uncertainty. The question emerged anew: what other signs were hidden in plain sight that could guide me forward? What hidden aspects of myself yearned to emerge, waiting for me to delve deeper into the dreamscape I had been creating? Walking to the window once more, I gazed at the expansive night sky. The stars twinkled with a knowing curiosity, as if echoing my thoughts back to me. Embrace the mystery, for it is not only the answers that illuminate the path but the very act of seeking, of journeying into the realms of possibility. With anticipation swelling within me, I closed my eyes, surrendering once again to the whispers of my dreams and the enigmatic universe guiding me forth. The days melted into nights, and I found myself returning to the oak tree with an increasingly profound sense of devotion. Each encounter felt like a sacred trust, a mesmerizing exchange between my spirit and the ancient wisdom of the earth. The vibrant hues of sunset had begun to alter, giving way to deeper washes of color that pulled at the heartstrings of my soul. The shift mirrored my own inner transformation, an awakening stirring within. One evening, I settled beneath the sprawling branches, the leaves casting dappled shadows upon my skin, each one a gentle reminder of nature's embrace. As I closed my eyes and breathed in the rich scent of earth, I sank into the stillness, allowing the murmurs of the night to cradle my thoughts. I silently requested a sign, a deep yearning for clarity amidst the swirling cosmos. In that moment, a soft rustle disrupted the tranquility, and I opened my eyes to find a figure emerging from the darkness. A woman draped in flowing garments, the fabric whispering of midnight skies, approached. Her hair, a cascade of silver, glistened like moonlight upon a pond. As she neared, the air around me shimmered, resonating with an energy that was both captivating and calming. Do not be afraid, her voice flowed like a gentle stream. I am Elira, keeper of dreams. My heart raced as I struggled to understand her presence. Was she a figment of my imagination or a manifestation of that which lay beyond the veil? Fascination and trepidation washed over me, yet her gaze was warm, coaxing me into the realm of the possible. What brings you to this sacred place? I managed to ask, my voice barely above a whisper. To awaken the truths that dwell within you, Elira replied, her eyes twinkling with understanding. You stand at the intersection of your past and future, a seeker of light in the shadows. She gestured to the oak, as if its ancient roots entwined with my very essence. You wish to weave your tapestry, yet fear keeps you tethered to the confines of your dreams. Her words resonated deep within, laying bare the worries I had tucked away. I took a deep breath, the cool night air filling my lungs with courage. How do I navigate that fear? There is so much unknown, so much I wish to discover. Elira smiled softly, her expression an unfolding map of empathy. Embrace the unknown, my dear. It is not a void, but perhaps an abundance of possibilities. Each thread spun from your experiences can enrich the design you create, but only if you dare to explore the vastness of your own heart. As her words wrapped around me, the soil beneath felt alive with connection. The idea inspired enormous curiosity. What if fear could morph into a compass, guiding my steps with the cadence of excitement rather than crippling hesitation. "I will listen," I promised, my voice steadier than before. "Then let go and flow like water," she instructed. "In doing so, you will start to recognize the signs that have long been hidden from you, the unexplored corners of your spirit waiting to bloom." In that instant, the night illuminated with flickering lights, and I glimpsed the playful spirits of nature swirling along the earth, adorned with glimmers of gold and green. Elira's form began to fade, yet her presence lingered, woven into the fabric of my consciousness, a spark igniting the embers of my quest. I lay back against the soft grass, overwhelmed by the moment's depth. A tapestry of thought began to form as I reflected on the symbols I witnessed in everyday life, the encounters that seemed mundane but held whispers of deeper significance. An exhalation escaped my lips, sensing a shift within me. What if I embraced an expansive vision of my dreams? What if each fear transformed into an invitation, urging me to leap into the unknown? I was beginning to see that the journey itself bore as much weight as the destination. As a gentle breeze rustled through the leaves, I closed my eyes again, this time seeking not the answers, but the beauty in the questions that lingered. What might the universe unveil if I were to remain open to its secrets? What new depths could I explore in my life's ever-unfolding narrative? And who among the unseen might guide me through this extraordinary journey? With my heart alight with curiosity, I surrendered to the silence, waiting for the next chapter of my story to unfold in dream and in waking life. The days followed one another like threads woven into a grand tapestry, each moment laced with a growing anticipation that quickened my pulse. My encounters with Elira lingered in my thoughts, her wisdom wrapped around me like a shawl of warmth. The oak tree became a sacred sanctuary, a portal between worlds where I was learning to yield to the currents of intuition that flowed through me. On a night adorned with a cloak of stars, I returned once more to the grove. The air was fragrant with the scents of earth and night blossoms, and as I nestled beneath the protective canopy of the oak, I felt an electric hum of energy coursing through the ground. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the silence, but it was not long before the calling of the night summoned me into deeper awareness. This time, the gentle rustle of the leaves carried whispers, an invitation to explore, to listen closely for the murmurs of truth hidden within the shadows. The stillness was profound, yet within it lay the pulse of a heartbeat, echoing through the air. I understood, this silence was not empty, it was pregnant with potential. Unbeknownst to me, a flicker of light caught my attention, breaking through the dark. A small figure hovered above the ground, radiant as a firefly but emanating a color so lush, it felt as if the cosmos itself had distilled its essence into this ethereal being. Yet as I focused, doubt crept into my heart. Would this be another illusion, or a genuine guide sent to lead me further into the unknown? "Fear not, seeker," the figure twinkled in a voice that was the embodiment of laughter and light. "I am Leora, the illuminator of paths. You are ready to uncover the layers of your spirit." My breath hitched, a simultaneous thrill and apprehension washing over me. What layers? What paths await to be discovered? "Each experience is a thread, and every fear an invitation," Leora explained, swirling in the air with a grace that defied my understanding of motion. "You've begun to perceive your fears differently, as gateways rather than obstacles. But there's more. Tonight, you shall glimpse the colors of your essence, a portrait of who you truly are and who you are becoming." With a flick of her shimmering form, the stars above began to twist and weave together, forming visions that danced upon the canvas of my mind. I could see moments from my past, some bathed in golden light, others draped in shadow. Each scene pulsed with vibrancy, and I felt my emotions mirror the agony and ecstasy of each memory, as if I were standing alongside my younger self. "Allow the colors to tell you their stories," Leora encouraged. "What do they reveal about your fears? What dreams have been dormant within?" As the imagery played out like a magnificent celestial opera, I felt the weight of regret and longing collide with blossoming hope. A moment of profound clarity surged. I could see how fear had shaped my decisions, but more importantly, how love and desire had beckoned me towards transformation. I began to understand that those moments of darkness were intertwined with invaluable lessons, and like the oak, I too had weathered storms and emerged stronger. "Did I feel the need to connect these threads?" I confessed, my voice echoing with newfound resolve. "Yet how?" "Through intent and courage," Leora chimed, her light swirling around me like stardust. You must express your dreams, share them with the world. Do not silence the whispers, give them form and voice. Let stories take shape through art, through words, through actions that resonate with your core. In that instant, I envisioned myriad possibilities, unfurling dancers twirling in celebration of life, poets spinning starlit verses, artisans crafting creations that give voice to the unspoken. Excitement surged within me, and I felt a call to honor my journey, to engage with the world in a way I had hesitated to do before, but as Leora began to fade, I felt the pang of uncertainty flicker inside me once more. What would that sharing entail? Would I be brave enough to step into the light of vulnerability, allowing my truth to be seen? Remember, Leora's voice echoed softly, it is in the act of unfolding that you will reveal the unseen power of your dreams. Each moment is a brushstroke upon the canvas of experience, where fear is transformed into beauty. As she evaporated into the starlit night, her final words echoed in my heart, igniting a deeper inquiry. What stories of my soul awaited expression, and what would it mean for me to live them out loud? How could I embody the truths I had discovered on this journey, allowing my spirit to intertwine with the cosmos in a vibrant symphony? As I lay there beneath the oak, bathed in the glow of both the stars and my innermost reflections, I embraced the essence of the questions still lingering. What colors would I paint onto the canvas of my life, and what pathways would emerge through the courage of my spirit? The night sang softly, an invitation to embrace the vastness ahead, where dreams beckoned like distant stars waiting to be reached. As I lingered under the oak, swaddled in the twilight's embrace, a maze of questions filled the air around me like the whispers of the night. What stories lay suspended in my heart, waiting for the gentlest coaxing to be set free? What form would my truth take in this world so eager to witness vulnerability? With the echoes of Leora still reverberating in my thoughts, I felt compelled to honor my journey not just for myself, but for all those who tread their paths with fear shimmering like a tender veil over their light. Days turned into weeks, infused with the anticipation of discovery. Each visit to the grove deepened my connection to the oak's wisdom, its roots a reminder of the strength we carry when we ground ourselves in truth. Inspired by Leora's luminous encouragement, I began to immerse myself in creative expression. At first, it was writing. Words poured from my being like rushing water, forming poems that echoed my fears and hopes alike. The ink became a vessel, charting the course of my soul's adventures, but as the moon shifted through its phases, I sensed a longing for a more tangible connection to my dreams. It was on one of those nights, the sky a tapestry of nebulous blues and velvet blacks, that I decided to explore the allure of art. Armed with brushes and vibrant pigments, I lost myself in the process of creation, allowing colors to dance freely upon the canvas. I painted of golden sunrises representing new beginnings, midnight blues capturing the depths of sorrow, and fiery reds expressing the passion that ignited my spirit. What emerged was a chaotic yet beautiful reflection of my inner world, a medley of contrasts that mirrored the complexity of being alive. One evening, as I stepped into the grove seeking solace and clarity, I hesitated, sensing a shift in the air. Suddenly, something flickered in my peripheria, space where shadows took a different shape. Heart racing, I turned to find a familiar presence. This time, it was not Leora, but a figure cloaked in a shimmering darkness, both brooding and alluring. You seek the hidden threads, the figure spoke, their voice like the rustling of leaves in a storm. But do you have the courage to weave them together? Who are you? I asked, a mixture of curiosity and caution woven into my tone. That I am Naira, the whisperer of secrets, she replied, her figure almost blending into the night itself. I reveal the unspoken truths buried within, the parts of you that long to be acknowledged yet remain shrouded in doubt. That I glanced at the canvas nestled beneath my arm, the expressions of my soul etched upon its surface. What secrets do I hold that I cannot see? The secrets are not meant to remain dormant, Naira replied, stepping closer, her shadow flickering like the flame of a candle. Within every fear lies a desire waiting to be birthed into the world. You have begun to showcase your dreams, but have you allowed yourself to embrace the full spectrum of your essence? A sudden stillness enveloped us. The oak, my steadfast witness, seemed to lean into the conversation, holding space for this sacred moment. I felt the weight of unexpressed longings, memories intertwined with innate fears, all pulsating within me like a symphony yearning for its conductor. but what if those secrets shatter the illusions I've built? I whispered, grappling with my resistance. That is the beauty of unveiling, Naira purred, her gaze piercing through the veil of my uncertainties. Revelation can feel like destruction, but it is also liberation. You must confront your shadows to reveal your brilliance. What voices have you tucked away, afraid to let them be heard? I inhaled deeply, feeling the tension in my chest as it tightened. The very questions that had propelled me forward now felt like anchors, binding me to a fear of being seen wholly and completely. Yet beneath that fear lay an undeniable aching. The calling of the untold stories and unbridled passions echoed in the cavern of my soul. As if reading my thoughts, Naira gestured to the canvas in my hands. Take this moment to explore the silenced part of your spirit. What would it say if the shadows could give voice to their experience? Let your brush meet the canvas as a conduit, flow with authenticity. A leap of courage stirred within me. I set the canvas down, surrounding myself with colors, and picked up the brush as if it were a key to a locked door deep within my being. Each stroke channeled my fears, memories of laughter and pain flooding my vision, intertwining into a narrative that no longer felt foreign but wholly mine. The colors clashed and harmonized, forming an array of emotions: anger, joy, confusion, each finding refuge in the spirals of paint that emerged before my eyes. I see you, I whispered to the canvas, and in that sacred exchange, the boundaries between my spirit and the creation before me began to dissolve. With Naira's gaze steady upon me, I painted not just to express, but to liberate myself from the bonds of fear that had held me captive for too long. As the night deepened, the shadows seemed to dance to the rhythm of my unfolding, a celebration of the hidden parts of me now brought into the light. When dawn's first light broke through the canopy, illuminating my work with a soft embrace, I felt an overwhelming aliveness ripple through me. I had traversed the fragile threshold between fear and freedom, unveiling the power of unmet dreams and underestimated truths. Yet, as the light bathed the canvas, a new question lingered in my heart. What unseen truths still awaited me, buried beneath the layers of my unfolding? What further revelations could untangle within the sacred interplay of light and shadow, of expressed dreams and whispered secrets? As I stood before my creation, I wondered what other facets of my spirit still yearned to be woven into the tapestry of existence, and how I might summon the courage to explore them. As the sun began to climb higher, I found myself enveloped in a quiet serenity after an intense night of creation. The canvas before me, alive with colors and forms, seemed to vibrate with a resonance I had never known before. It astonished me. Whispers of my fears now blended gracefully with the voice of my aspirations. The oak stood watchful, its strong branches weaving an intricate haven that felt like a protective embrace. Days passed within this new rhythm, enigmatic dance of creation and introspection. My encounters with Naira lingered at the forefront of my mind, her question echoing like a soft mantra: what voices have you tucked away? Now, the weight of that question propelled me deeper into my artistic endeavors. With each passing moment, I became increasingly aware of the shadows that surrounded me, the lingering doubts that often seeped into my consciousness like uninvited guests. I had released so much on that canvas, yet I still felt there were layers unseen. Inspired, I began to write again, but with a newfound focus, using a different approach. I decided to explore the root of my fears, each page a mirror reflecting the vulnerabilities I had carried silently. One evening, while lost in the confluence of words and paint, I ventured back to the grove. I sought not only the solace of the oak but the deeper truths that seemed to beckon me from beyond the veil. As I approached, I noticed an intrepid flower blooming at the base of the oak, pushing its way through the cracked earth. Its resilience sparked something deep within me. It was as if it had emerged to remind me that beauty could sprout in the most inhospitable places. As I settled beneath the oak, I sensed a presence. It was familiar yet different, a soft hum that resonated with the energy of the grove. This time, Naira was joined by smaller figures, shimmering light flecks that danced amidst the dusk. The air felt thick with purpose. Douc. Naira gestured toward the enchanting flower. Life finds a way to break through even the harshest conditions. Your truths are like this bloom, they require nurturing, and yet, they have the unwavering strength to thrive. Do you mean that my fears can transform into strength? I asked, feeling the connection solidify in my heart. "Indeed," replied Naira, her voice melodic, like a gentle breeze. "They hold the potential to cultivate what lies within. This space you have created is a fertile ground. What you choose to nurture will inevitably grow, shaping both your existence and your artistry." As I sat in reflection, visions began to unfold in my mind, a cascade of thoughts weaving through me. I envisioned myself daring to take risks, allowing my voice to resonate fully, each unspoken word demanding attention. "What if I fail?" I queried, a tremor of apprehension threading through my heart. "Consider this," Naira said, her presence undulating like the dance of shadows at dusk. "What if failure is merely a stepping stone on your path? A lesson that weaves into the complex narrative of your journey? Instead of fearing the fall, allow yourself to embrace the entire voyage, the rise, the tumble, the lessons learned in dusk and dawn." These words, like a balm over raw wounds, seeped into my bones. There was a soft courage igniting within, a warmth that whispered of possibilities. I realized then that each stroke of paint, every word I penned, was a seed planted in the garden of my truth. I needed to cultivate authenticity unapologetically, projecting my voice powerfully against the landscape of doubt. Glimmers of inspiration illuminated my path as I envisioned the untapped potential simmering within me. What if I curated an exhibit, a visceral immersive experience where others could unveil their own truths like blooming flowers? The idea felt electric, a sacred space for vulnerability and connection to flourish. A rush surged through me, and I felt the enormity of this calling, yet, even as the passion surged, the doubts began to fortify their walls again. What if the world wasn't ready for my voice? What if it echoed only in silence? As the sunset bathed the grove in amber hues, I felt an urge to seek the unseen. What must I face to bring this vision into existence? I asked Naira, feeling the weight of my hesitation weave ominously around me. "The answers dwell in the shadows," she replied, glimmering in the dusk's embrace. "Face what caused your whispers to fall silent. Only then will illumination cradle your vision. Seek, explore, and do not shy away from what surfaces." Her words chimed within me, a soft echo of encouragement igniting my resolve. The complexities of my fear and my dreams were entwined in a sacred balance of discovery, waiting to bloom. As twilight descended, I returned home, a sense of urgency in my spirit. What shadows were still lurking, waiting for acknowledgement? What further layers of myself needed to be unearthed to breathe life into my vision? As I crossed the threshold into my space, a cascade of questions whirled within me, wrapping me in a quest filled with possibility and adventure. Would I uncover the treasures hidden within the dark? And how might these revelations guide me on this expansive journey toward authenticity? The night had settled over the horizon like a heavy velvet curtain, ushering in a stillness that wrapped the world in secrets. Beneath the watchful eye of the moon, I found myself awakening in the early hours, a curious pulse driving me to the grove once more. With each step, I felt my heart thrum in time with the soft whispers of the night air, promising connection and continuity. As I neared the oak, the familiar silhouette stood regal against the silvery backdrop, its branches swaying gently as if inviting me into an ancient dialogue. The flower I had seen earlier seemed to radiate a subtle glow in the dim light, illuminating the backdrop of my internal landscape. I settled once again at its base, the ground cool against my skin, grounding me to this moment of intention. Sitting there, I closed my eyes and began to breathe deeply, inhaling the cool night air laden with the scent of earth and possibility. Thoughts swirled like leaves in the autumn wind, drawing me inward where the shadows loomed larger. I asked silently, what must I confront within to transform this vision into reality? The answer came not in words but through the rustle of leaves, a chorus of tiny chimes that echoed my question back to me. Suddenly, the whispers of the grove morphed into shapes, faint shadows emerging like phantoms from the depths of my consciousness. They danced before my mind's eye, each bringing forth a fragment of my fears, the fear of judgment, the fear of inadequacy, the fear of the unknown. Emerging from these shadows was a blending flicker of vulnerability and courage, an indiscernible line between the two, outlining a path only discernible to me. I sensed Naira's presence wrapping around me, her energy propelling me to the roots of my essence. To illuminate the unseen, she urged, you must journey hand in hand with your fears. With my heart racing, I reached out beyond the veil of visibility, probing the depths of my own narratives. What if I embraced my fears rather than deny them? I pondered, the question a key that began unlocking doors within. An image of my art emerged, each piece more than just a demonstration of technique. They were carriers of my soul's truths, resonating deeply within the spaces others find too painful to explore. Dare to weave your truths around those fears, Naira intoned softly, the melody of her voice wrapping like tendrils around my heart. Your art can illuminate both the light and the shadow. It can evoke dialogue, and in that exchange, healing can flourish. Every voice holds a story waiting to be shared. An inspiration ignited within me, pulsating with urgency. I envisioned the exhibit not merely as a showcase of my work, but as a sanctuary where voices could converge in an alchemical process of transformation and understanding. It struck me as profoundly beautiful, yet the shadows loomed, casting doubt like a shroud around my vision. What if my fear isolates me? I whispered, looking deep into the heart of doubt. What if I remain unheard? Through connection, your insecurities lose their chokehold, Naira replied, her voice a remnant of moonlit silk. Your soul seeks resonance. This journey is not just about you, it is about the symphony born from vulnerability. In embracing your dark corners, you'll find light to share with others lost in their own. That I held on to these words, feeling their warmth permeate through me. Suddenly, I understood that the shadows were not to be feared, but to be acknowledged as part of my Maseka blend of dark and light that made me whole. It was then that an inkling of clarity broke through the fog shrouding my reflections. I resolved to confront and become friends with each shade of fear, crafting my narrative into a tapestry that invited others to step into their authenticity. As dawn approached, I opened my eyes to the first hues of light cutting through the branches above me. The grove felt enriched, the air drew tight with possibilities. I felt compelled to create anew, breathing life into this newfound understanding. What stories awaited me in the depths of my experiences? What life-altering truths lay just beneath the surface, begging to be acknowledged in strokes of paint and words penned with honesty? The questions danced before me, illuminating choices yet to be made. In welcoming my fears, I forged a path toward unveiling deeper truths. I stood and embraced the light that dawn not only signified, but also a promise of renewal, a reminder that I was inextricably bound to the world both created and waiting. What treasures might I discover as I commit to traversing the uncharted territories of my own narrative? How might I set the stage for others to step into their stories with courage? And in doing so, could I find the answers to the more profound questions, the essence of what it truly means to be human and the art that flourishes from that simple understanding? The sun crept slowly across the sky, its warming rays igniting the morning dew like scattered diamonds on the grass. I felt the energy shift alongside the light, as if every blade of grass, every fluttering leaf in the grove knew of the change burgeoning within me. A deep resonance flowed through my veins, urging me to gather the threads of inspiration sparked by my revelations and weave them into reality. As I strolled along the winding path that joined the oak to the edge of the grove, visions of the exhibit swirled in my mind. I imagined each piece of art carefully arranged, a vivid landscape of emotions laid bare for all to see, a reflection of our shared struggles and triumphs. The thought thrilled me, yet beneath the thrill lay a familiar tension, a quivering of uncertainty thrumming through my body. What if they don't understand? I murmured, recalling the judgment I had long feared. Right on cue, shadows flickered at the edge of my thoughts, threatening to dim the light I'd recently ignited. I paused, drawing in deeply the scent of earth and renewed possibility. Ah, the dance of creation, a voice broke through my hesitation, rich as berry wine and laced with wisdom. I turned to find an elderly woman standing just beyond the grove's edge, her frame stooped with age yet radiating a vibrancy that belied her years. She wore a woven shawl, threads intertwined with colors as vivid as autumn leaves, a living tapestry of her own journey. You hesitate where you should leap, child. What vision do you cradle? I blinked, taken aback. I am crafting an exhibit about my fears, my struggles. I want it to resonate, to connect. The woman smiled knowingly, her eyes sparkling like sunlight flickering through branches. You honor your truth. Yet, in creation, fear clings like the fog shrouding the morning light. It will always whisper doubt, yet it can also guide you all the way to wonder. Does that mean I must accept doubt? I asked, intrigued yet unnerved. You must learn to dance with it, she replied, stepping forward to stroke the bark of a nearby tree, her fingers brushing it as if greeting an old friend. Fear is a part of you, it is the brush that adds shadows to your canvas. It tells the story of your resilience. Her words ignited a spark within me, awakening the realization that fear need not be my adversary. But as I bowed my head in reflection, I felt the weight of vulnerability descend around me, much like the gentle cascade of leaves in fall. What is it you truly seek? She pressed, her voice soft as the rustle of leaves. Is it validation, or is it something deeper? To share your art, you must first understand the essence of sharing itself. That I tossed the question around in my mind, suddenly aware of something lurking within me, deeper yearning not just for validation but for connection, for understanding from the tapestry of human experience. I thought of the stories embedded in each stroke of paint, of the unseen emotions that each color stirred within the hearts of others. That I seek a reflection of the human experience, I replied, a newfound conviction rising within me. I want to illuminate not just my own journey but to encourage others to reveal their truths too. I want to create a bridge where fears transform into understanding. Then let your heart lead, she advised, a lightness suffusing her voice. Connect not solely through your art, but through the stories engendered as you share. For every shared heartbeat resonates through the fabric of existence. As she guided me to a nearby stone, she urged me to sit and close my eyes again. Listen closely, she said, settling beside me. In silence you may find echoes of the many souls that long to be heard. That I entered the quiet, the air thick with anticipation and echoes of past wisdom. In this stillness, an image unfolded, a kaleidoscope of faces, each vibrant, each telling tales marked by struggle and joy, love and loss. Their stories wrapped around me, and in each thread woven, I felt a bond extending across realms, a timeless network of shared truths. Emerging from this reverie, I gasped, overwhelmed by the depth of what I had just witnessed. These stories, I whispered, voice trembling with urgency. They hold power. They unite us. They do, the woman affirmed, resting her hand gently on my shoulder. In that connection lies the true essence of creation. The light, dear child, is born from the shadows, and therein resides your journey. Your fears are but tributaries that feed the river of understanding. That I opened my eyes, the realization of her words lighting a fire within me, igniting a relentless quest not just for my own truth, but for the symphony of truths that others held silently within. This journey had transformed. It was no longer just about me but about a community flourishing through shared vulnerability. Still, doubts echoed like distant drums, reminder of shadows yet to confront. What if I fail to bring these connections to life? How do I ensure that the exhibit engages rather than merely displays? Yet with every unanswered question came a gentle nudge, a push toward possibility. The grove hummed around me, filled with the whispers of possibilities, urging me to stand firm in the dim light and create. The path might be shadowed, yet I felt resolute. What if embracing my fears leads to a deeper understanding of the fears held by others? What revelations await when I weave together shared truths through the tapestry of my art? And in empowering others to share their stories, I wonder, could we together unearth truths so profound that they redefine the very fabric of existence? As the world beyond the grove began to shimmer with the emerging light of a new day, I felt a profound sense of awakening deep within my core. The elderly woman whose wisdom seemed to spring from the very earth itself had ignited a flame of connection that lit my path. Every fear, every ounce of vulnerability transformed into a thread woven into the fabric of my purpose. I no longer stood disconnected from my dreams but anchored within the very essence of what it meant to live authentically. Returning to my sanctuary beneath the oak, I exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of hesitation dissolve. I was ready to embrace the shadows that would guide me to a transformative narrative not just for myself, but for each soul yearning for resonance with their own truths. I envisioned the exhibit morphing into a vibrant tapestry, a shared space for voices to intertwine and harmonize, reminding us of our collective journey through fear and discovery. In this fertile ground of possibilities, I began to gather the stories of those around me. Their fears mirrored mine, yet within each harbored a unique brilliance. I sought out fellow artists, dreamers, seekers who carried secrets in their hearts, inviting them to join me in this sacred undertaking. Each one stepping forward brought their own narratives, their own shades of pain and joy, and with each connection I forged, the project evolved from a solitary venture into a communal experience of healing. As we gathered beneath that same oak, a witness to our blossoming community, the air thickened with possibility. I could feel the energy pulsing, each heart contributing to a collective song. Conversations shifted from timid murmurs to vibrant exchanges, as pen brushed paper and brush met canvas. Our shared vulnerability illuminated the unseen corners of our experiences, each stroke of paint coaxing forth untold stories that begged to be witnessed, embraced, and healed. Weeks unfurled like petals opening to the sun as our collective journey blossomed. We crafted pieces that encapsulated our fears: the artist's fear of inadequacy, the poet's struggle with silence, the dancer's trepidation of sharing her body with the world. Each creation became a reflection of not only our individual trails but the shared human experience, the connective tissue bridging our hearts. On the eve of the exhibit, I stood once more under the oak's sprawling branches, bathed in the silver illumination of the moon. I closed my eyes, breathing in the essence of every moment leading to this point: the fear, the warmth of encouragement, the transformation of doubt into vibrancy. I connected with all gathered souls, whether they were present in body or spirit, all woven into the luminous tapestry of our creation. This moment became sacred, a fusion of dreams, fears, and collective journeying that transcended the physical space. The exhibit, Whispers of Fear, Threads of Truth, came alive that night. The gallery transformed into a sanctum, each piece contributing to a symphony of shared vulnerability. As visitors walked through, they were not just engaging with art, they were stepping into the very heartbeat of our human stories. Emotions flowed, tears embraced as shared joys and sorrows touched the depths of every spirit present. As one young woman gazed at a painting that rippled with pain yet shimmered with hope, she began to weep. I approached, instinctively holding space for her. "It feels like you carved my heart," she whispered. Her vulnerability, a mirror reflected back, resonated within me. "We are the same," I replied softly. And suddenly, what lay at the very core of every fear became clear: the truth that we were all interconnected through our shared human experiences. As the night deepened, conversations blossomed, connections sparked, and revelations unfurled like petals kissed by morning dew. The gallery pulsated with life, where laughter mingled with tears. Healing stories were seen, heard, and celebrated. It was an extraordinary symphony of voices, each note resonating with the inherent power of authenticity, and from the heart of this exquisite gathering, I realized in that moment what I had been seeking all along: the sacred act of embracing our truths together creates an alchemy of understanding that transcends any fear. Each story, relational pool of memory, became not just a whisper but a thunderous proclamation of awakening. As I walked home beneath the canopy of stars that twinkled above, I felt the profound love of the universe wrapping around me. It echoed in the gentle rustle of leaves, reminding me to continually embrace the journey, to surrender to the mysteries yet unveiled. In this ever-unfolding dance, I understood to live authentically means to weave the threads of our stories together, celebrating both light and shadow, laughter and tears as a cosmic tapestry of existence. With every heartbeat, the world spun on, and I felt a sense of peace settle deeply within me, anchoring my spirit. I had become a harbinger of possibility, a luminous witness to the truths illuminated in the shared journey of both dreams and fears. In that profound moment beneath the celestial expanse, my heart whispered the infinite truth: every dream and every fear unfurls into the magnificent dance of life, a sacred invitation to weave together our stories in a world hungry for connection.